Welcome to the 60 Plus podcast.
I'm Janet.
I'm Joe. What was that?
I don't know. I
Um,
was just feeling energetic for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing my little power
Power
stance here.
stance
Yeah,
in the chair.
yeah, power.
Power sitting.
Yeah, I'm power sitting right now.
Okay.
Exactly. I'm gonna sit up nice and tall. See
See
that?
me stand so straight and
Oh no!
tall.
Now you're singing. I haven't sang in a long time.
I know everyone's commenting like, thank God Janet's not singing. Okay.
No.
Um,
Yes. If I had a
no.
hammer.
Oh no. We were doing something before we started recording and
Yes, thank you, by the
Janet gave
way,
me an
for helping me hang
earworm.
my curtains.
Okay.
And yes, I had a hammer, and of course, I had to sing the song.
hmm
But that's not what we're talking about
No,
today, is it,
no, it's not.
Joe? What are we talking about
I was
today?
waiting for you to say that.
Yeah.
I came across this article in Psychology Today, in my
Mm.
usual reading of Psychology
Oh,
Today.
yes. I'm sure you read it cover to cover.
And it's about younger people's perceptions of older adults who do not act their age.
Act your age, young man.
Not your shoe size. Did your
Yeah.
mother used to say that to you?
I don't think my mother said that,
Yeah.
but it's a line in a Prince song.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I do.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So the question is, does the public have a good or bad opinion of people who act younger than their biological age?
Okay, I'm going to take a guess. I would say they probably have a good opinion up to a certain point.
I think that's what you gathered from the article when you read it.
Oh God, I was pretending like I didn't know.
All right. So there was a new study published in the journal Psychology and Aging,
Mm-hmm.
focusing on the attitudes of younger and middle-aged adults towards older adults who had a
Mm-hmm.
younger felt age. I'm making air quotes, felt
Yes.
age than their biological age.
Right.
So there were a couple of experiments. The first one, 213 volunteers aged between 18 and 34 years old had to read 2 stories about describing an older man or woman.
So that would be both Gen Z, depending on when this study was conducted, millennials. When was this study conducted?
2026.
Yeah. So that'd be Gen Z and millennials.
The older person in the story had a biological age of 75 or 65 years old, but their felt age was either the same as their biological age, 20 years younger, or 40 years younger,
Okay. So it only goes to 40 years younger. Because
which is 20.
What's your felt age, Joe?
Depends on the day.
Right. So this is the age that you feel like.
Correct.
Now, I want to know, I want a clarification here. Do they mean physically, mentally, or emotionally?
I think overall.
Overall. Okay. Because if, the answer to that question would be different.
It's subjective, though. I'm going to say my felt age is mid 40s.
Yeah.
So 20 years younger.
Yeah. I think that that's fair.
Although I think I'm in better physical shape than I was when I was in my mid 40s.
Now, that's great.
I was heavier.
Yeah.
So I feel better in that regard.
Yes.
Also, I had pretty stressful jobs when I was that
Yeah.
age, and that made me feel worse in
Yes.
some ways.
And I think
It
this
was always
also,
weighing on me.
Right. And I also think that this has a lot to do with the way you act. Because as we get into it a little bit more, they talk about age appropriate behavior, right? So a lot of it's not just, how you feel, getting out of bed in the morning, whatever. It's like, how do you generally act, on a day-to-day basis? So I'm going to say 25. No, I'm kidding. 2. No.
That's closer. As she has a little tent.
Ow, don't make me mad.
All right. The results of the study, there were 2 studies, and they were largely similar. Older people who feel young at heart are seen positively, but only if they don't violate their age stereotypes too much. So it doesn't. The article that I read didn't get into what are those stereotypes.
Well, that's what we're going to have to uncover
We're
here.
going to talk about that today.
Yeah.
What do you think So we've talked about this before, and I've said I remember my grandparents at my age now,
Yeah.
and I remember them acting and being older than I think I present now.
Yes. So I think some of this is sociocultural in the sense that the needle has moved in that direction where more and more is expected in terms of health span. We talk about this. We've done episodes on this health span, joy span. We're really looking at that, not just about, the age, the number, but really what is the expectation societally. And that's shifting a little bit. We're not supposed to necessarily be in a rocking chair knitting. And I think for those younger generations too, they're seeing their grandparents who are, rocking it type of thing.
Hmm.
And so those stereotypes are maybe breaking down a little bit too.
Well, the results of the study, they found that older people who had a felt age of 20 years or 40 years younger than their biological age were perceived as more competent, smart, bright, and independent than older adults whose felt age was the same as their biological age.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking my grandparents felt their biological age.
Right. And again, it's back to behavior.
Hmm.
And I think about my grandmother. Remember her sitting in a chair knitting. And she probably wasn't any older than I am now,
Hmm.
And that's certainly not my mode of operation, let's say. So, I think again, we've opened this door in terms of our behavior, and that's what shifts perceptions over time.
Hmm.
So this is very interesting, and I think it gets back to, again, behaving the way you want, right? Like, I mean, one of the beauties I think about getting older is that you start to care less about what other people think, which
We've
was
talked
something
about
we've
that a
talked
lot.
about. In
Hmm.
fact, when Greg was here, we talked about that. We've had Real Talk guests who have, said that over and over again. It's like you start to worry less about what's expected of you and focus more on what you want, what brings you joy. And this age appropriate behavior, like who defines that?
Well, I think in the experiment, it's the younger people that define it because they're saying, oh, they're acting too much out of their age
Right.
stereotypes.
What would that look like? That's my big question.
Now, I could see, I'm sure you've seen people who dress much younger,
Scantily?
scantily, or a style that would be more befitting a much younger person.
Well, again,
Uh,
who decides that, right? Like we even had a myth buster about that where, 60 plus people don't have style. That was a myth.
mhm.
And in fact, what we found is that, well, that's not true. And as a matter of fact, many of the new models, and you're starting to see more and more of this, of, being representing our age demographic. So again, if they're models modeling the newest, latest styles, is that age appropriate? Of course it is. So I don't, I'm not sure if I kind of agree with that. I think it's a matter of, your own self image and perhaps, portraying that, so a young woman who's going to dress scantily can be the same attitude as a older woman who's going to dress scantily, if that's what brings her joy type of thing. It's not about what other people think. I think, and that's, I think, the difference here, in terms of how we judge us. However, having said that, I will tell you that I was out to listen to music the other night, and there was a much older gentleman who was singing rap, and he was doing a great job, but I couldn't look at him. I was just like, wait a minute,
He was beyond, yeah,
this is, it didn't
it didn't connect.
connect.
Yeah.
I was listening, but I wasn't watching because I couldn't, it was making me laugh. And so my bad there, like, why should that make me laugh? he's doing a good job. He's a talented guy, and that's what he's into, and that's what brings him passion.
Was he the
That should be
entertainment
a
at this
yeah,
venue?
and that should be applauded. And it wasn't karaoke, like that he was
He wa
performing, one of
Okay.
the main performers, yeah. Now there were other performers as well, but yeah. And it was just very I don't know, to me it was funny and entertaining, which really should have been entertaining, right? If I'm following my own, theory here.
But what would you think a younger person would
Would
think
think
of him?
probably worse than what I thought. I don't know because I mean, I think it's also within our own social context. So, young people like to go out and watch, performances and rap music. And right, it's probably, if you look at the demographic again, a higher percentage of young people, would have a certain set of expectations in terms of who those performers are, right?
And what they would be singing,
And what they would be singing. Yeah.
and it wouldn't be hip hop or rap.
No, no,
Uh,
this was rap.
okay. Um, okay, I don't think I've had that experience myself, seeing someone, like, an older person, like, older than us?
Probably about our age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know anything more about him?
No, I didn't spend time to try to understand his
Was this just
background.
part of his
No
talent, skill?
idea.
Did he
That's what he was doing.
sing
And,
Woody Guthrie songs and then
I
break
went
into
from
rap?
like finding it very funny to kind of like, okay, respecting it. It's like he's doing what he loves to do. And there shouldn't be an age limit on that. So yeah, I have this is where I found the article failed was really defining what that
What the
means.
stereotypes
And
are.
that's again perceptions of other people, right? So whereas one, younger adult who maybe has a very active grandparent, maybe their expectations about what is age appropriate would be different than a young adult who had, an older acting, like the
Mhm.
one that, their felt age was the same as their biological age.
What are some age stereotypes that you think you push up against?
Wh-
I have one.
Yeah.
Having dinner at 4:30 in the afternoon. And the reason I'm thinking about this right now is going out with some friends tonight, and we have a show to go to, but
Yeah.
we're having dinner before, and the only reservation we could get was at 4:30.
But
And
okay.
and we're all saying, "Oh, I guess we're at that age where we have dinner at 4:30."
Yeah. So
So that's a stereotype.
yes, it is a stereotype, but it's also sort of, your biological clock does change, and I like for instance, I have a friend who's coming and I'm like, I just so you know, I go to bed early. I'm not going to be up early and so I can't be hanging out all night chatting and whatever, partying and stuff. I those things are just at some point, realities and like taking care of yourself is, maybe acting age appropriate when your body is asking for that. I mean, I think the other reason too we tend to eat early, I don't know about you, but if you're doing intermittent
Which I
fasting,
am, yes.
it's a lot easier to eat your dinner early and stop eating than to hold off and hold off and hold off on food in the
Mhm.
morning for me anyway. So there's that comes into play.
So to get back to the question, what's an age stereotype that that you think that you don't comply with?
Oh gosh, so many. Have you seen
Okay.
me on the dance floor?
No.
You don't want to. You'd be laughing at me. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think about it. I just kind of do what brings me joy and hopefully I'm capable physically of doing it. I don't really think about that. Uh,
So,
what about you? What can you give an example of that? This is why I'm struggling with these whole findings, but
well, I think that even now, I have friends that will ask me questions about technology. How
Mm-hmm.
do I do this? I recently had someone ask me to help them build a spreadsheet.
Right.
So I think that there is that, and we've done an episode about this, a perception that older people aren't technologically fluent or native or apt.
Right. Well, and it's also not as much as our, part of our DNA. We didn't grow up with it.
Correct.
So the relationship, for instance, that we have with our phones are not as embedded, let's say.
Hmm.
So I think that there's, again, some cultural considerations here to sort of overlay onto this. But I was trying to research what's considered age appropriate, right? Or what are the stereotypes about, older adults that younger people hold. And we've done a lot of Mythbusters about this, right? Frailty. Well, we talked about, what was it, Jack LaLanne, or the people who run marathons who are,
Hmm.
well into their 70s, 80s, 90s. Cognitive decline. That is not a given. That is not absolutely, we're all going to end up there. Asexual or unattractive, like you get old and you're not, that's just not how I view us. It's not like, oh, you're old. I mean, again, people fight it, but beauty comes from within. I hate to sound woo woo, but if you love somebody as they age, you're going to still love that person and you're
True.
still going to find them beautiful. So I think that when you break it down, again, and this is the thing about stereotypes, right?
Well, the stereotypes for a reason
Yeah,
too.
but sometimes they don't really have a basis. They're just
Okay, they're just
stereotypes because they've existed.
sure. Maybe
Um,
they've existed in the past, but they're not appropriate to today's people.
right.
So I'm going to get back to kind of a fashion question again.
Oh boy.
We're coming into the summer months.
Yep.
You go to the beach. You see an older person wearing something that might be considered age inappropriate.
Well, I mean, if you
What do you
go to
think?
Europe, you're going to see
No,
older
we're
people
I'm not in Europe.
without tops on. It's like,
Okay, I'm not in Europe though.
again, it's
Do you,
like cultural
wh-
acceptance.
what do you think, and what do you think a younger person thinks? Now you
I
kind of,
don't really care what a younger person thinks, quite frankly.
but what
and,
do you?
and I mean that, not to disrespect younger people, but
But screw you.
honestly, I mean, when you get here, then you can have an opinion.
Hmm.
But focus on your own behavior.
Sure, but what do you think
I think,
when you
well,
see that?
you're kind of putting me on the spot,
I am,
and
yes.
I
That was
will
the
return
intention.
that favor. Um, Again, I'm sort of a let live type of person.
Sure.
I'm not going to judge, even though I judged that poor man who was singing. I didn't really judge him. I don't know. It was just funny at first. I don't care. I want people to be happy and do the things that make them happy. And if it's wearing a, teeny little bikini and, you're older, whatever, if you're implying, what do you think?
Sometimes I think, well, I'm age agnostic on this because I'll look at someone wearing something that I think is probably too revealing, and I'll be like, you
Well, that's
know,
across the board.
across the board,
Okay. So
across the
you're a
board.
prude.
But uh, I'll say, what are they thinking about?
Hey, I'll tell you what, if we could all skinny dip, I'd be for it.
There's no fashion in nudity.
Mm.
If you're on a
Have you ever
beach,
been to a nude
I've
beach?
never been to a nude beach. I've no desire to go to a nude beach,
Even
actually.
in a foreign country or anything like that?
No, I haven't.
No.
No, and I have no desire.
Right. Therefore, you don't want to see other people nude
I
either.
don't want to be nude.
And you don't want to see other people nude.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey,
Like,
listen, if I could wear pantaloons, I would.
you just went from nude
I'm
beach to
just kidding.
pantaloons. I think you've covered the gamut. I don't know what part of the
I'm gonna
body the
wear my
gamut
wetsuit
is.
all year.
Uh,
In this water, you have to.
okay. So, yeah, I think I think we all know what an age-appropriate one-piece women's bathing suit might look like. Can you can you agree with
No,
that?
I,
No?
I don't want to really have this conversation
Okay.
because you're trying for me
What
to
not what
agree
I
to something that I just inherently
disagree with.
disagree with because I think it's up to the individual.
Okay.
And if
Fair
they're
enough.
comfortable with it, why should I be uncomfortable? Like it doesn't have anything to do with me. It's like, and if I don't want to look at it, then I don't look at it. If I want to
Gee,
laugh at the poor
if
guy
you don't
singing
want to
hip hop,
look at the 70-year-old rapper,
right? And I
yeah.
didn't, and I
Okay.
enjoyed it much better. You know,
You're
like I don't,
contradicting yourself
I
here.
am. Like no, my point is that I appreciate people making their own decisions about their own lives and what they deem as age appropriate or
Okay.
not.
Let
And
me
I
ask.
really don't even think that we should be asking young people what they think because it's kind of, I don't know, not relevant.
Okay, I'll ask a more provocative question then.
Wow, you're really trying to catch me out. Okay, so I am going to get you back on this one. Go ahead.
65-year-old dating a 22-year-old. Either way, the man could be 65, the woman could be 65
Okay,
if they're a
so this is a
heterosexual
really
couple.
good example because if we get back to the study,
Mm-hmm.
there are probably some younger people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say maybe some younger guys might think, oh, look at that old guy. Man, he rocks. Look, he's with that young chick. Woohoo. Wow. Good for him. Woohoo. He must have a lot of money.
What guys do you hang out with that talk like that?
I don't know. I'm like, he must have a lot of money. That's what people think. He must have a lot of money.
Okay.
Am I correct?
I think some people think that, yes.
Yeah. And perhaps vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That they're with the person for other reasons other than whatever attraction, personality,
Mm-hmm.
you know, intimacy, whatever it is, intelligence. It could be a number of things. But we are not in their shoes. We don't know that.
That's true. That's true. Although there are,
How do you feel about that, Joe? When you see an older guy with a much younger woman, what do you think?
I don't care.
Okay.
I know, I really don't care.
And what about if
There-
you see an older woman with a younger guy?
I don't care.
Actually, then people think, is that her son?
Ooh.
I know, right? Like it's again, this is about other people's opinions. Right? So I say this study is a bunch of hogwash.
There's an age
And
appropriate
it's
word.
not worth the paper that it's written
All
on.
right. So you don't care what younger people think of older people acting
No,
age
I really
appropriate or
don't.
age
I
inappropriate.
really don't. But I will say I'm not going to go to a place where there's all young people and dance like I dance if I was with my peer group
Why not?
because I
Contradicting yourself again.
I am because I wouldn't feel as comfortable. Like I want to play and be silly and fun and do all those things with my peer group. I'm not going to try to act young with a bunch of young people. Do
Ah,
you know what I'm saying?
okay. I think I think this is a good note to end on. Trying to act younger than you are. If it's acting younger, that's different than I feel younger. I am young.
And I'm going to do these things.
Yes.
Right.
But if you're just doing it
Regardless of what
act,
other people think.
to act like people around you,
Yeah.
okay.
That's kind of silly.
All right, we've solved the problem.
Wow. I'm so excited that we've had this uncut conversation.
This is Uncut, yes.
Yes. And
right.
the episode will be called Uncut. Act Your Age.
not your shoe size. All
Young
right.
man.
That's it. There was a time when Act Your Age, Not Your Shoe Size was like about the same size, about the same
Yeah.
number. Now it's
I'm
multiples
still
and
there. No, I'm
yeah.
kidding.
Size 60 something.
Yeah,
No,
8.5.
European sizes, apparently.
Oh, 38. That's right.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's
See, I am.
right
I'm
in the
like,
ballpark.
yes.
Okay. I think that's going to do it for this week's episode of the 60 Plus podcast. I'm Joe.
I'm Janet. Bye.